Alright, let's talk about something that's been buzzing in the Wuthering Waves community lately, because with the 2.7 Phase 2 banner now live and Chisa right around the corner, a lot of players are starting to realize something. Chisa might not just be another DOT support, she could very well be the next universal support character for 3.0 and beyond. And before anyone says, that's a stretch, hear me out. We've seen this exact setup before. Remember how Shorekeeper came out and completely redefined how we built our teams? They weren't flashy, they weren't the face of the patch, but their entire design quietly shifted the foundation of how supports work. And from what we've seen so far, Chisa might be the next character to do exactly that. Before we break down how Chisa actually plays, here's a quick way to make sure your pulls go a lot further this patch. Today's sponsor, topuplive.com, can actually help you stretch those pulls. You can get up to 24% off and an extra 12% off with my code, so you can finally chase those 5 stars without going broke. It's fast, secure, and even rated 4.0 stars on Trustpilot, so it's a great way to save while you stock up for Chisa or any future banner. Let's start with the facts. Chisa is a Havoc Broadblade resonator, but what really sets her apart is her Havoc Bane mechanic, a unique DOT-based debuff that applies over time and potentially interacts with other resonators' damage. That one detail alone is massive. Havoc Bane isn't just a personal damage tool, it's a mechanic that can scale across the entire party. Meaning, if Kuro Games decides to expand on it in 3.0, we could be looking at an entirely new DOT-based synergy web, where Chisa becomes the anchor for every future unit that interacts with lingering damage. Now, if you think back to when Shorekeeper was released, their kit didn't seem too insane at first either. A mix of defensive buffs, sustain, and some minor attack bonuses. Nothing mind-blowing on paper. But what made Shorekeeper incredible was their universality. They could fit into almost every composition, from burst-heavy teams to sustain-focused lineups, and their resonance bonuses never clashed with core DPS units. Chisa might be walking that same path, but instead of supporting raw burst characters, she supports the entire emerging DOT meta. What Shorekeeper did for sustain and general buffing, Chisa might now do for damage over time and resonance layering. The timing also lines up perfectly. We're closing in on 3.0, a patch that, based on past updates, is likely to shake up team archetypes again. Kuro loves dropping one glue, character right before a major expansion, and Chisa fits that pattern to a T. Let's look at the bigger picture. DOT, damage over time. Teams have been on a slow, steady rise since 2.4. We've had Phoebe, Zani, and the Spectra Rover all bringing their own variations of lingering damage or elemental decay. But what these teams have been missing is consistency. They have power, sure, but they lack a universal way to amplify that power across multiple DOT types. If Chisa's Havoc Bane can universally apply debuffs that stack with existing ones, say Frazzle or Burn, we're suddenly looking at a character that doesn't just slot into one element's meta, but every DOT comp simultaneously. That's what separates a niche unit from a universal support, and that's why this is such a big deal, because if Kuro actually designed her with that in mind, she might become a permanent staple like Shorekeeper. A resonator you can slot into almost any team and immediately see value, whether you're running Spectre DOT, Havoc Bane stacks, or even future Elemental Decay teams in 3.0. Now, let's speculate just a bit. If 3.0 introduces another DOT-focused region, which feels almost guaranteed considering how heavily the game's been leaning into multi-type resonance, then Chisa could end up being the foundation that ties all of it together. Imagine a future where every region has its own version of lingering damage, Burn for Fusion, Bleed for Havoc, Corrosion for Spectra, and Chisa's Havoc Bane acts as the universal amplifier that stacks or interacts with all of them. That would instantly make her one of the most valuable long-term investments since Rover. If you've been playing for a while, you know how cyclical Kuro's balance patterns are. Before every major patch, they like to drop a unit that bridges the current meta with the next one. Chisa could be the pre-3.0 bridge that connects every DOT archetype together before we get a full-on system rework or new elemental resonance synergy. She's not just a unit, she's likely a system enabler. And if that's true, then skipping her might mean missing out on the backbone of 3.0's upcoming team structures. So, here's the bottom line. We don't have her final numbers yet, but from what we've seen in official previews, animations, and even early theory crafting, all the signs are pointing in one direction. Chisa isn't just a DOT sub-DPS. DPS. She's the next universal support, whether she buffs, debuffs, amplifies, or even heals through Havoc Bane effects. Her kit design screams team synergy. And that's exactly the kind of character that stays relevant for multiple patches. If you're the type of player who likes long-term value and flexible roster planning, Chisa might just be the smartest pull before 3.0 drops. Comment down below your thoughts, and I will see you in the next one.